Darkness in daytime, unveiling the mysteries of the April 8, 2020 solar eclipse. According to NPR, many people have asked Danielle Rappaport where to witness the once-in-a-lifetime sun eclipse. Astronomy Club Outreach Coordinator Rappaport said San Antonio is the first key U.S. eclipse location. Leave town. She says, in fact, it's only going to hit the westernmost part of the city. Any roadside location will be packed with moonrise watchers. San Antonio is going to get swamped, she says. Rappaport will drive 100 miles west of San Antonio to Garner State Park on April 8th to avoid people. At Northwest Vista College, other San Antonio Astronomical Association members will distribute eclipse glasses and answer inquiries. Living in cities bothers her. Totality begins 80 minutes after the eclipse at 12:14 p.m. in San Antonio, CDT. Rappaport and other San Antonio Club members have been advising people to wear darkened eclipse glasses. She thinks eclipses mislead many. Some inquire where to see it best. Partial eclipses can possible without totality. The eclipse will be visible to 31 million North Americans along the path of totality. Rappaport said some will observe a less impressive yet vital occurrence. Weather conditions. The next nationwide full sun eclipse will occur in Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota in 2044. The Little Rock-based Central Arkansas Astronomical Society is improving this year's event, doing outreach and education and training the trainers and talking to libraries, schools, and anyone who will listen, says Darcy. Almost 2 years have passed since this process began. The 130-member group intends to give individuals peace of mind by providing information on April 8th. So when the time comes, we can feel confident that people know how to look, what to look for, and how to watch the eclipse safely. Letting blind people see the eclipse. Little Rock's World Services for the Blind employs her. How do you describe an eclipse to a person with low vision or who has never had sight? Asks the man. This is a challenge and I'm looking forward to it. NASA Braille book getting a feel for eclipses helped her. NASA claims the book features tactile graphics showing how the sun, moon, and Earth align. After 15 minutes in Little Rock, Indianapolis will see totality. Indiana Astronomical Society Public Events Manager Steve Haynes worries about the weather. In fact, there's a 60% chance of cloud cover that day, says Haynes, a former Indianapolis National Weather Service lead forecaster and climate trend researcher. His organization will set up telescopes at the Children's Museum of Indianapolis on Eclipse Day. The largest and oldest Indiana Astronomy Club distributed 15,000 eclipse leaflets to central Indiana schools. Haynes claimed the club has had 50 eclipse discussions. I just drove the other day 100 miles away to give a talk. A drawback of eclipse tourism. Haynes fears traffic and people like Rappaport in San Antonio. Many routes intersect in Indianapolis. Asks, why is it called America's Crossroads? So, we're going to get an influx of people from Chicago and northern Illinois to eastern and central Ohio. He warns that small towns that capitalize on eclipse enthusiasm may attract too many tourists. Eclipse commercials appear. The news source claims Evansville and Muncie had famous astronomy advertising. Totality will occur at 3:26 p.m. at Williston, Vermont, east of Burlington on Lake Champlain and home to the Vermont Astronomical Society. President Jack St. Louis says the society is also educating about eclipses. And we have members who are going to be at libraries and schools and supporting different areas. Along the way, he adds, ECHO, the Leahy Center for Lake Champlain, will host St. Louis. He believes others heard the sun's sighting warnings but ignored the eclipse safety instructions. Some worry if they should try if they're not in totality. We tell them any place you can see the sun in the afternoon, you're good. Getting about may help you observe the eclipse. In the North Central Maine Astronomical Society President John Silverman says members will travel swiftly to avoid clouds but hope for excellent weather. The real hardcore eclipse chasers look at the weather on the morning of the eclipse, and they dash to where they think it's going to be clearest, says. State roads might make this harder, he believes. The thing about Maine is that there are lots of roads going north and south and very few going east and west, says. Once you commit to where you're going, your ability to shift east and west is limited. The northernmost U.S. location to experience totality is Houlton, Maine, more than an hour 3:30 to p.m. from San Antonio. Houlton will have singers, actors, crafts, and a metaphysical tent featuring crystals, astrology, and tarot card readings through Monday's eclipse. The towns that are on the path or even near the path are promoting it heavily and hoping to not just have a good and busy and financially rewarding eclipse, but to get people to want to return, says. Despite the excitement, Silverman thinks some people aren't scared about the eclipse. Not interested, not getting that rare and amazing sight, he calls it lovely. Fans are unsure too, since Maine is prone to April clouds. Silverman's biggest if is weather. My astronomy club mate booked a flight to Mexico. His eclipse odds are 80% or higher, says. You can go down to, say, Texas or someplace down there, but it's not a huge advantage, he says. Will not change and trust it will work.